Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, located in the U.S. in Central Maryland. Welcome to the October Bundle Bonus. This month we're featuring the Country Woods Suite Collection, and the collection has 2 stamp sets, 2 coordinating dies, 2 packs of DSP, and embellishments. So I'm going to use the Country Birdhouse bundle for my project. And at the end of this video, I'll do a brief catalog tour so you know where to find the products that I've used. Let's jump in. So as I said, I'm using the Country Birdhouse bundle, which includes this stamp set and this die set. So this stamp set, I was intrigued because it has a birdhouse and a little tiny bird to go in it. I mean, it's so darling, so cute. And then it has some really great sentiments that I like. Hello friend, hoping you have the best day ever, with emphasis, a happy birthday. And then it also has some floral elements, some splatter, when I'm always using splatter for something. On my card, my project today, we're actually not using the splatter, but we're going to use this wood grain and the hello friend. It has very little stamping, so we are using the dies. And this die, you can build a birdhouse, so it has a birdhouse die, and then it has the elements of it, the feeder part of it. There's gingerbread for the roof. You can cut out a stand, and we're actually going to use that today. So maybe I should show you my project first, and then kind of tell you what we're doing. So here is my card. So very little stamping. I've stamped a greeting, hello friend, and then I've stamped that wood grain on my die cuts, this bird stand and the feeder part. And I told you that there's 2 DSP packs. Well, I'm using the Country Lace for this card, which coordinates because it's a suite. So I've die cut 2 birds from that, and also this background piece. So let me bring in my pieces and then we'll get back to the die. The supplies for this project are a base of basic beige cardstock, so it's half a sheet of cardstock scored in half. And if you're my customer and you purchase this bundle, I will give you this PDF that has many projects made with the same suite from a variety of demonstrators. So you'll have a lot of inspiration, and that's where the bundle bonus comes from. You buy the bundle and I give you the bonus. So if you get the PDF of this bonus, it will have all the cutting supplies and cutting measurements. But anyway, here's a half a sheet of basic beige scored in half, and then I have a layer of Misty Moonlight, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. My metric friends, that would be 10 by 14.4 centimeters. And then I have a layer of the Country Lace DSP, and this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And my metric friends, let me see if I can do the math, 9.5 by 13.9. Okay, woohoo! And then I have a piece of basic white for the inside, and that's 4 by 5 1/4, 10 by 14.4 centimeters. And then I have some scraps that I'm going to do my die cutting from. This is the Country Lace, and this is a piece of crumb cake cardstock. So Country Lace, it comes, there's several patterns in it, and it has a reverse side. This one kind of looks like denim, and this looks like almost like twill fabric. So, as I said, I was going to use the dies, and the dies, I'm going to use the feeder part of the birdhouse and the stand of the birdhouse, and then we're going to cut some birds. So the dies, in addition to cutting images from the stamp set, you can also cut other images, other floral images. There's this little bow that you can hang the birdhouse in the front if you wanted to make it look like it was hanging from a bow. There's holes for the perch on the birdhouse and for the entry to the birdhouse. There's some leaves. There's a lot going on in this die set, so you really get a lot of options aside from just stamping. You can really do a lot, and I have done a lot with this set. So let me set this aside. And for our die cutting, as I said, we're going to use these scraps here. Put my supplies off to the side. So the thing is, I want a bird facing one way and a bird facing the other. So if I cut them going the same direction, I'm not going to get these patterns. So I think I'm going to reverse this up. I'm going to do the blue bird going the other way. So I'm going to cut on this side, and then I'm going to put the pink bird on the left. So I'm going to cut one pink and then one of this twill fabric, knowing that he'll be reversed on this side. So we'll probably even do two at a time, because the DSP is rather thin. Now when it comes to my cardstock die cut, I will do a single layer, and I only need one. So I will cut the feeder part like this, and I will just be able to get this in if I turn my die sideways. So straight on, it's going to overhang, but if I turn it to the side a little bit, I can just fit it in. And that's why I love scraps, using every little bit of my cardstock. So I'm going to head over to my cut and emboss machine, and I will be back momentarily. And so here are my two birds that I've die cut and my pieces for my bird feeder. I did end up cutting these birds separately, so there's a little bit of a ridge because the die cut came down on it, so it curves just a little bit on the back side. So I'm going to take my bone folder and go over that and flatten out those ridges just so the bird will lie flat. And on this, you can see there's a little bit of impression left from the die. I'm going to leave that on there. I like that. And the same with this die cut. It's much fainter on this die cut though. And now we're going to do some stamping. We don't need our die cuts for that. There's only two things that I am die cutting. And that is, well, not die cutting, stamping. I'm stamping on my layer of DSP, and I'm going to stamp on these cardstock pieces. So on my DSP layer, I'm using Misty Moonlight, and these colors actually are from the DSP pack. Let me show you real fast. So on the back of the DSP pack, so this is the Country Lace. You can see all these patterns are lace images, eyelet type images, and then on the back they have more solid patterns. On the back of that packaging, it tells you the colors that coordinate with this DSP pack. So here we have Basic Beige, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and Smoky Slate. So I chose Misty Moonlight, and that coordinates with that pattern here. That's the color. So I have my Hello Friend. I'm going to ink this in Misty Moonlight, and I want to stamp it on the bottom right corner, like so. That piece is stamped on, and now I'll bring in my crumb cake ink. Crumb cake ink. I'm going to stamp this wood grain, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. I like to keep my work area pristine when I'm filming, and so it's my little quirk, and this is going to help me. Now when I did this first one, I started at both ends, and I want to try something different this time. I'm going to start the wood graining in the middle at the top, like so, and then kind of move. I'm going to turn turn the stamp and stamp in the opposite direction. So that wooded knot is only going to appear once on the top part of my die cut. And then for the bottom, maybe I will stamp towards the knot towards the right and flip it over and do the bottom part with the knot. I don't know if it makes a difference, it's just something different. And then on the post, stamp that, and then just move the stamp down, and voila. That is all the stamping on this project. Pretty incredible, right? Quick and easy. That's the kind of cards I like to make. Okay, so our next thing is we're going to adhere, we'll start building our card. I'm going to adhere this DSP layer on top of my Misty Moonlight. Actually, before I do that, do I want to do that? I want to, so what I'm debating right now, I know I'm going to tie that baker's twine or linen tone, what is that? Natural Tones linen thread. I'm going to tie a piece of linen thread here, and I want my post of my birdhouse. So let's put our birdhouse post on first before we do that. Now I'm finding the center of my piece of paper. I'm going to use my grid paper. And that's about there. So this black line here is my center point, and I'm going to put my birdhouse, my post right there, a little above where my sentiment is, but centered on my piece of cardstock. So let me put some adhesive, and I'm just putting a very little bit of this multi-purpose glue. A little bit will go far, and I don't want it to ooze out, so I'm being very cautious and just putting a little bit of a thin bead. So our cardstock is lined up. Our post is going to go right down that center line and slightly above our greeting, our hello friend greeting. And then our feeder perch will go right on top of that. And I'm kind of wanting to center, so I'm going to eyeball to make sure that how much space is on the right and left are about equal. But I'm just eyeballing this. And again, use some of this liquid glue. Enough to tack it down, but not ooze out. And I think that looks maybe a little bit to the left, a smidge. All right, and there our card front is almost completed, so let's attach that to our Misty Moonlight layer with my multi-purpose glue. And then center this top, bottom, right, left. Should have a border of the Misty Moonlight. And now bringing in this Natural Tones linen thread. This is from the mini catalog. It's within the Nests of Winter suite, and it just really doesn't give a color, but I believe this is probably Night of Navy. It's darker than the Misty Moonlight, but I think it coordinates, so you don't always have to use the same exact color. You can vary your colors as long as they're kind of in the same color family. I guess what I'm trying to say is the Night of Navy is a darker blue, but the Misty Moonlight is not a bright blue, so they're kind of in that dusty blue family. So I'm going to tie a bow. I find if I turn the bow to me perpendicular, I have an easy time. Let's see if this works. It's always, when I'm on camera, You never know. And so then I will just fuss with this bow to get it looking halfway decent. This might take me a minute or two to get the perfect bow. Not too big, not too loopy. I think we're there. Trim up this end. And we're ready to put our card front on our card base, our basic beige. And I've scored this card base, and I like to crisp up my scores so the card will lay flat. Sometimes that requires both sides of the cardstock. Now we can use our multi-purpose glue to adhere our card front to our card base, and then we can get on with the finishing touches. That looks about right. And so this bird is going to go on this side, and this bird is going to go there. And again, I want them to kind of have the same distance on the right and the left. Their tail feathers. That looks about right. And let me bring in my mini dimensionals. We're going to pop these birds. Let's see if you can see it better. You're going to put these dimensionals on. Put one there. And I do love dimensionals, so they might have more dimensionals than needed, but it makes my heart happy to know that they will be popped up. They will not be saggy birds, and that's all that matters. I've already cut a couple of two of these. I used half of a miniature, a mini, and that's for these tail feathers over here. So you could cut off the edges, or just cut, I've already used some of the edges, or cut one in one dimensional in half for this. There we go. So we'll have our petal pink bird here, and I'm just lining up the bottom, his feet with the top edge of the feeder. So get them closer together. They are friends, right? Looks about right. Take these covers off, and then we can finish up this card. It's a quick and easy friendship card. And there. These little dimensional covers, I know you've heard me complain about them. I do my best to get them into the trash can as soon as possible. They just seem to have a mind of their own, a life of their own. Oops. So, I think that's maybe just a tad. There we go. Lined up nicely. Now for the inside of my card, on this one, my sample, I had a extra die cut. Adhere our inside piece, and I've left this blank, and that's so when I write, send this card, I will write a personalized note. So a hello friend on the outside, that means I can put any kind of note personalized inside. It can be a thank you to a friend. It can be congratulations to a friend, happy birthday, feel better. So I will leave this blank, but I did go and cut another little bird. I did go back to my cut and emboss machine and cut another little bird. Now this one is the same color as the cardstock front. Do I want that lace, or do I want the little gray bird? I think I want the lacy bird. So I'm going to put him over here. It's just a nice little surprise. If you even cut another one, you could glue it to the envelope that if you're sending your card. I'm sure your friend would love to get a little peek of what's inside of the card by putting a bird on the envelope. There's our finished bundle bonus card for October, and as I promised, let me do a little short catalog tour. So this is Stampin' Up's annual catalog, May 2024 to April 2025. Let's see, make sure you can see that down here at the bottom. And then we're going to turn to page, actually this starts on page 48 and 49. Here you can look at the Country Woods Suite collection. You see this Birdhouse here, the Country Lace, another Birdhouse. It's just lots of inspiration on this page 48 and 49. And then we come to page 50 and 51, and this is where the Suite collection. So I used the Country Birdhouse bundle in my project, and I used the Country Lace DSP pack. But you see there's there's the Country Birdhouse bundle, and there's also the Country Flowers, which has the pail, a little stool, a tea kettle, and some floral elements and some nice sentiments. The embellishments coordinate with both bundles. We have some smoky slate pearls. We have this eyelet, a 3D eyelet embossing, and petal pink and white trim, and all three of these will coordinate with either the Country Woods or the Country Lace DSP. And then we're going to move on to page 117, and this is where the mini Stampin' Dimensionals are, right in the middle of the page. Moving on to page 138, we have our Misty Moonlight cardstock and our Misty Moonlight ink, as well as the Crumb Cake cardstock and the Crumb Cake ink. And Basic Beige is right here on page 139, the cardstock, and the Basic White cardstock. So that's all the elements of this project. And then from the mini catalog, the September to December 2024 mini catalog, on page 31 is the Nests of Winter suite, and right here in the right corner is the Natural Tones linen thread, and that's the blue that I used on my card. Thank you so much for joining me for this bundle bonus. If you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd be very grateful. Hit me up if you're interested in what other bundle bonuses I have available. And until next time, remember, stamping is fun. Bye.